Sagittarius, this is Romy. Welcome to my channel. This is your March 2021 soul story. So if you have Sagittarius sun, rising or moon, this is a general reading, but I'm hoping some of these messages and insights might just support you a little bit as you navigate your way through the next few weeks. So we're into Pisces season, and March astrologically and energetically is far lighter, so you should feel a little bit more of a relief than you may have been experiencing of late. It feels like there's almost that sense of having a bit of a tailwind rather than the headwind, less outer planetary clashes, everything in a direct motion, a little bit of Mercury retrograde shadow at the beginning part of the month, but overall a feeling that through the course of March and April you're going to feel much more empowered, like you can draw your energy if you felt scattered and disconnected and start to really regain a powerful sense of focus. Now, in this water energy of Pisces, we are opening up your reading with the Empress here. We do have a focus around your fourth house of house and home, of family, and really you looking to build stronger, solid foundations within how your emotional self is helping to guide you through the day-to-day aspects of just transitioning from what has probably been quite a testing, challenging, difficult time. What I want you to remember is that right now your destiny is so much louder than any uncomfortable transition that you might be going through or anything that you are experiencing. I do think though Pisces season is going to throw up some really deep and meaningful curveball questions for you, and perhaps there is going to be a bit of a focus around dynamics that are happening in and around the home or family and relationships in that sense. Now, we are going to be looking for areas where you are perhaps asserting new boundaries, perhaps identifying really strongly where there has been overly codependent situations within relationships, and realizing that actually now it's the time to not cut corners by way of the work that you've been doing for yourself, on yourself, really starting to integrate and embody things in a new way. Now, Empress is coming in with a very nurturing, healing vibration, and actually we've got Pallas Athena, the goddess, asteroid goddess, moving on the 7th of the month into the sign of Pisces. So she's bringing a beautiful sense of healing, intellectual wisdom, compassion, forgiveness where you need it. Remember, the forgiveness is about you having an energy cleanse, Sagittarius, not necessarily you doing this to let other people off the hook. But you know, she comes in on a really high ethereal frequency, and as we make our way towards the new moon in Pisces on the 13th of the month, there is something about you feeling much more empowered and really harnessing that dreamlike energy to unleash new imagination, new creative ideas, artistic ventures, and actually just help you to provide a greater degree of trust with where you are letting healing flow into your life. You know, it's a great time to be able to unearth and discover new different types of healing modalities as well. So if you're trying to deal with any kind of addictions or patterns, again, this first part of March will be really conducive to that. Now, Pisces does make a square to Sagittarius, so you know, sometimes that can bring about a little bit of tension and feel somewhat uncomfortable, but the idea overall with March, because the planets are so much more supportive, is that tension is leading to some kind of breakthrough that's going to be really, really helpful for you, okay? You know, we're all trying to make our way through the wild, chaotic energies of the landscape right now, but I just need you to remember that there's always something that you're discovering along the way, you know, no matter what it is that you're coming up against right now, because Empress is putting you in a really empowered position, very fertile energy if you're ready to create, to give birth to something new within your life. And the Knight of Wands suggests, again, a fantastic time by way of the impetus to get things launched and moving. Now, actually, when we go into the second half of March, you're going to be absolutely on fire, Sagittarius, because we're going to come into the Sun in Aries, welcome the equinox energy. You're going to see how much you've grown. You're going to be able to recalibrate, harmonize, and balance something out. And with that, you're going to have the drive and the determination to really make something happen. We also have Mars moving into Gemini in the beginning of the month on the 3rd. So a lot can happen and very quickly in that energy. Now, Gemini is your 7th house of relationships, so that might mean that some of you are having swift changes taking place with important people that you are involved with or connected to in some way. It doesn't just mean on a romantic level, Sagittarius, if you are looking for people to help you, if you have people within your sphere of influence that you need to connect to, of course, the relationship with yourself. There's a lot of planning, there's a lot of activity, hustle going on, conversations that are stimulating. Careful you don't get overstimulated with things. And again, just a reminder not to cut corners. Gemini really wants to rush ahead, can get quite restless and impatient, but you do want to remember that, you know, doing things in a more meaningful way that honours everything that you've learned is going to be so much better in the long run for you. I do think there's also going to be some practical support to help you go further than you ever have before in some aspect, okay? And because I'm seeing this awareness that's emerging from you really strongly, Sagittarius, perhaps around these themes of codependency and self-trust, and perhaps even aspects of where you've betrayed yourself or felt betrayed by others, there's a lot of healing coming in on this, which means that you are creating space for a higher vibrational type of connection and energy to come in that is about being that sort of tailwind energy that's going to support you, believe in you, and kind of be that inspiration, I think, that's going to help you to tap in and harness something that you're ready to now utilize, or you're ready to share or to express. The Knight of Wands is also bringing in a little bit of that travel relocation energy with an emphasis around house and home. Some of you might be thinking about that, planning for it, and even if you're still in a slightly restricted set of circumstances, March is certainly affording you the opportunity to start thinking about plans in a much more meaningful way than you have for some time. Again, that feels like a real boost to the spirit, and just reminding you of a bigger purpose and a bigger picture that's still there. You know, even if you're getting caught up in the day-to-day tasks of things and it feels like you're not making as much headway as you would like to, there is a reminder that anything that feels uncomfortable or slightly challenging right now is soon to open up and clear the way for you. Now, Mercury is going to move into Pisces on the 15th of the month as well, just after that new moon. So it's a really wonderful opportunity for you to speak from the heart. And again, if that's with relationships that are closer to home, it is going to be really important. Again, we've got this aspect of trust coming through. And perhaps it's because you're needing to highlight to somebody close to you, you know, where you feel maybe they've gone off the radar a little bit, or where you're concerned about them, or how you think you can help them. I do feel that with that Empress energy, there's something quite mothering and nurturing, and you wanting to reach out and support somebody who forms part of your close soul family or network. Okay, I think that's important. I think if there are aspects of relationships where you have really highlighted or become aware of that aspect of codependency that's either coming from someone else, or even that you're, you know, being really accountable and recognizing within yourself where that has occurred, this is a really healthy time to start again to formulate something within yourself and how you want to make adjustments moving forward, okay? The equinox is going to be a fantastic time to allow that rebalancing energy to come in and to really support you. And I'm feeling with all of that fire energy, you're going to be more motivated than you have for quite some time to make like meaningful, lasting, sustainable change for yourself. And remember, Aries season lights up that 5th house energy for you. So it's also about, you know, the areas of your life that are connected to romance, to desire and pleasure, also to children as well. So there may be some strong focus going on through the course of March for many of you in and around family and connection to children right now. So death is coming through here, and of course bringing that opportunity for transition and transformation. Now, there may be things that have suddenly come to an end or are naturally reaching a point of closure. You know, of course, in the northern hemisphere, especially as we welcome in that spring equinox, it's a time for us to really allow sort of that fresh new energy to come in, which means that we have to let the release happen. That sometimes can be an uncomfortable process, but it can be deeply cathartic and healing at the same time. Scorpio energy also coming through here, and we have Taurus energy linking in with the Empress here. So, you know, that that interesting kind of polar opposite that's going on with those fixed signs also having something to teach you. Now, you may well still be dealing with the fallout of that Saturn-Uranus square that took place through the course of February. Remember, we talked about how that's going to be a three-part trilogy. But whatever it's cast up for you, Scorpionic energy coming through to kind of really help you to unearth, to release, and then allow like a new rising phoenix energy to come in and take you further than you ever have before. And I think there's something about the energy of March and into April for Sagittarius that I just think you're allowing yourself to evolve at a faster pace than ever before, and getting very clear about what needs to be set down for the things that are just not conducive or supporting that. Now, it's a really synchronistic month by way of the signs and things that are going to be showing up for you. Page of Pentacles coming in, and I think there's going to be some interesting offers on the table, Sagittarius. Invitations that might take you slightly by surprise or come from people that you weren't expecting. Nonetheless, I think there's something of value. Don't feel anything is out of reach to you at the moment, regardless of how things might look as you observe how they are unfolding at this exact moment in time, because everything can change and change quickly. That Mars and Gemini energy is really going to be coming in and kind of stirring things up. But I think that you're in an energy where you're hungry to learn, you know, you want to advance yourself or to look at an area of your life and say, you know what, I'm just ready for more. So there will be more. What do you need more of? More light, more patience, more energy, more perseverance, more love, more abundance. That's where we really want you to put the focus through the course of March and April, because then you can really work these energies to your advantage. But this offer and invitation for me feels like it also might take you quite far. So even though initially it might find, you might find that it's not really doesn't have a lot of credibility or doesn't have a lot of weight, or maybe from the person it's coming from you're like not really sure, but actually it's sort of initiating a marked change in your path in some way. And I think if you can follow the energy, follow where it feels free, where it feels light, where you feel curious and open, if you have this sense of I just want to learn more, then please kind of allow yourself, give yourself permission to do that. But that's why it's really important that you're going to be assessing sort of early in the month around those relationships where trust, codependency, betrayal, kind of issues around that need to get resolved. Because as we make our way toward that full moon in Libra, Chiron activated around that moon. So there's definitely a little bit of victimhood energy that's going to be surfacing around people. And what you don't want to do is get caught up in somebody else's drama or narrative about what they were expecting or hoping or wanting from you at that exact moment. It's going to make a more positive alignment for you, Sagittarius. And again, I'm just feeling gives you the opportunity to make some firm and final decisions on some aspect of your life, but giving in this beautiful sense with judgment of a rebirth moment. But you do feel very enlightened during that full moon, very, very enlightened indeed. And again, I think it's demonstrating to you the areas of your life that you just want to allow in for a greater sense of pleasure and play, and what it is that you're going to have to do to make sure that that becomes a reality for you. You've learned an awful lot through the course of the last year about work-life balance, and it might still be wildly out of kilter for some of you, depending on your individual circumstances. But equinox is giving you the opportunity to start to really work with the energy to address that one by one. It might not all happen at once, but I think you can be pleasantly surprised actually how quickly you'll be able to catch up over the course of the next few weeks in one or more areas to address that. But what we don't want to do is go back to what wasn't working in the past, even if there is still a yearning or a craving to return to something that felt more familiar or stable. This is also an invitation to say, how can I do it better? How can I ask for more? How can I allow and receive more? So taking the time to think about that beautifully during that new moon in Pisces, that allows you to just kind of connect into your spiritual self, your higher self, and really feel that energy enhance you. It's a wonderful time to be able to receive even stronger signs and validations and guidance and counsel from your own team of guides, regardless of how intuitive you feel. It's the opportunity where you're really going to start to work with the energy, command the energy in new ways. That's the whole point of what we're experiencing through this ascension enlightenment process, that you less and less become in need of even seeking out people like me. It's all about trusting yourself so much that you're just able to act upon those intuitive hunches step by step, moment by moment, and being in such a beautiful state of presence that you allow yourself to feel the joy of that while still pre-paving powerfully what you need for the future. So that destiny call, like I said, is going to feel much, much louder. But I am looking at many of you starting to put into motion things that are going to fundamentally change some aspect or direction of your life in a really positive way. But you have to build some solid trust within yourself and the path that you're carving out right now. You know, don't go back on decisions and choices that you make that feel really good in the moment, because you're then being influenced or talked out of it by people that don't really understand what you've been through or aren't seeing or feeling your vision. It's completely unique to you. Four of Cups suggests to me, I think there's going to be a lot of people that want to say, come this way, here. This is something that you might be interested in. Look what I've got for you. Now, even though I think there is interesting offers and invitations on the table, this is a different kind of an energy here. So there is something meaningful to follow through, but you're going to have to filter out what is just white noise and kind of shallow and shiny, and what is something that is actually being placed on your path from a fated synchronistic perspective. You're going to know the difference because you're going to feel it viscerally, Sagittarius. You're just going to feel it. There's going to be an emotional response, and I'm sure a very powerful validation sign from Spirit that says, absolutely, this one you can trust. Here we can go with this. You can see she's in a beautiful meditative pose here. It's very restorative. She's been allowing this gorgeous energy to come down from her higher self, and you've got that beautiful aqua blue ocean behind her, just reminding me of that Piscean energy that allows us to flow more easily with some of the energies that we're navigating right now, regardless of how wild and how chaotic they may feel. Find the stillness. What does that look like, and what does it feel like for you? It's going to really matter so that you don't get caught up in conversations that go nowhere. I feel like if there's some people around you through the course of this month, Sagittarius, that just are set upon putting their agenda or their opinion and just wanting to kind of rile everybody up and get everybody in a place where they're all upheavaled, and it's just like that kind of just for the devilment of it. Just feels like it's got no purpose. Perhaps they're just bored, or they're coming from a place of, you know, jealousy or envy, or just unhappy with themselves. And I just think you need to be really mindful, because they may come from people that surprise you, you know, much closer to home. And it's not like I see people, you know, actively coming out to be negative towards you. I just think that's what's going on with their own energy. So you're just going to have to be really careful and mindful about where you draw your energy and how you find that center point. And again, equinox really helps us with that. But sometimes these transitionary times astrologically, you know, they can feel a little bit like eclipses. You know, something comes to light. We have endings. We have profound change, sometimes unexpectedly, that we weren't prepared for. So maybe a little bit of confusion around some of the events and situations that might take place. But remember, any sense of tension is quickly dissipated, and what comes from it is opportunity for more choice. And I think in many aspects you have been ready for that and looking for it. You know, you've been asking for something to open up in some area of your life, whether it be from a relationship perspective, you want new ideas, inspirations, you need a different kind of energy to work with. Or something that's happening for you professionally, career, vocation-wise. So what you have been asking for has been heard, and I feel that much of what's unfolding through the course of the next few weeks is actually about preparing you and giving you the opportunity to connect and receive and open some new doors. So allow that to happen and dream bigger than you ever have before. Be bolder. Let that destiny be a louder voice in your head than any kind of fear or any kind of uncomfortable aspect of what you might be going through, because all of that is transient, all of it. Piscean energy can have that kind of nebulous feel sometimes, can't it? Where we sort of get slightly disillusioned by what might be playing out for us. Your Six of Cups has you feeling quite reflective, but there's also something exceptionally sweet about what you can enjoy through the course of March. And like I said, because the stars are showing up much more favourably than we've had them for some time, there's the opportunity for you to catch your breath, just have a sense of lightness, perhaps reconnect to something or someone from the past, and just have the space and the clarity and the kind of freedom of your thoughts to actually enjoy it. It almost feels that you've perhaps not been able to because you've been very focused or very over the head or under pressure in a certain way, and that through the course of March there's some kind of alleviation of some pressure or responsibility that allows you a moment to just do something that you've really missed. And even if you have been doing it, you've not been enjoying it because your mind's been so distracted, so whatever that ritual, that practice, that process, or whoever the people are that you want to reconnect to, there's just something really beautiful that's coming in for that I'm feeling into this sense of stillness. I think the more you can sort of creatively visualize through the course of this month, the more excited you're going to feel. And there is something about allowing yourself to feel excited about what's to come. And if that sort of churn starts to happen in your solar plexus, even if you find yourself in really difficult circumstances, please trust what the energy is trying to tell you, because it's an indication of things are about to shift, things are about to get better, things are opening up. Allow yourself to feel optimistic with that, and it's really going to support your well-being, both mentally, physically, emotionally, through the course of this month, and have a really important impact by way of how you connect with other people, because that full moon in Libra, especially we have Venus in Aries as well from the 21st, is going to be delivering a lot of passion, a lot of focus in and around that fifth house for you, where you have the opportunity to fall back in love with some aspect of your life, perhaps even fall back in love with someone. Maybe if you've gone through a really difficult time, this is an opportunity to kind of really resolve some difficult aspects to the connection or the relationship. Chiron will definitely deliver some trigger points, but you're evolved, you're awakening, you're so much more conscious with yourself in terms of what you've been putting into relationships, that I think you're going to be in a really good sound place to make some really important and have some really grounded and balanced conversations that give a new level of emotional maturity to the important people in your life. And you need that. It's almost like you have to get that squared off so that you can then be free to focus on other things that are about to amp up and get really exciting for you. So don't skip that. Don't avoid dealing with things that need to be addressed, so that you can be free to think and to receive a lot of the new ideas that are going to be coming in. It's going to be exceptionally important. Okay, let's just take a look and see how these oracle cards are going to reflect your main reading. Okay, focus on love. Look for the good in everyone. I think this is, it's interesting because even though there's going to be an awareness and perhaps feeling, that sense of uncomfortable energy when you come to the realization that actually this is not that healthy, or how somebody's been treating me really isn't okay, or how I've been allowing them to treat me isn't all right, how I've been treating myself. So there's an awful lot of light bulb moments that are coming through in the course of this month for you, but everything is being brought up so it can be cleared and detoxified and transmuted. And the more you are able, with that sense of compassion, and that's where this beautiful Pallas Athena energy from the goddess from the 7th, in Pisces, and even though Athena is the goddess of war in Pisces, she's a lover, not a fighter. So she's going to really support you. We're still going to have Venus in Pisces at the beginning of the month as well. So as you make your way toward that new moon, there is something very forgiving and compassionate. But remember what I said, it's about the energy clearance and cleanse that it gives you. That's what's really important. You have your beautiful dragon here, but it's like you're taming the dragon. You've tamed the wild dragon within you as well. So I think it's going to be more easy through the course of March to sort of keep a lid on any anger or frustration, to help dissipate it or to help transmute it and just allow yourself to move on. I think it's going to be really important that you give yourself permission to move on where you feel compelled to do so, or allow somebody else to move on. You know, this is about you welcoming so much fresh new energy to come in the changing of the season, and that requires a level of trust that I know is coming in for you. But you're going to be asking some deep questions of yourself this month, and others, you know. Maybe they won't be able to answer them, but you can certainly feel into what's coming up for you and act accordingly. Okay, we've got two, so let's take them both. We have portal, doors are opening, you decide, rewards, wild card. Beautiful. And we also have empathic starseed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. I guess this is really similar to what we've been talking about, isn't it? And especially that Mars and Gemini in your 7th house of relationships is going to be reflecting back an awful lot to you about the type of people that are showing up and what they're projecting to you. But it is a time to move beyond that projection, beyond the perception that other people have of you, and make sure that you are redefining your pathway and yourself on your terms, Sagittarius, okay? Yes, you may be very empathic right now, but you have to start to get clearer about the energy management and the way that you ground and protect yourself, so that you are not taking that on and letting it impact you day to day. You know, you don't sit there and wait for a telephone call by somebody to see what kind of a day you're going to have, but that's kind of inevitably what unfolds, isn't it? Somebody phones you and says, you know, I'm angry today, therefore you're going to have a frustrated day, or, you know, I'm upset with you, therefore you're going to feel guilty today. But that's what can end up happening on an energy level when we absorb empathically what other people are feeling and experiencing. So we do have this new portal with the equinox coming in. Doors are opening, and it is a very fated month. So, you know, beautiful karmic rewards can come in when that full moon in Libra enters on the 28th, just to rebalance something important. So you need to be aware of how you've grown and what you want to be focused upon. And it's so vital as the manifesting energy is getting faster and faster. And you should be really aware of where this is starting to show up for you. And you'll feel March and April, there's some of the most open, progressive, fast-paced, positive energies that we have in the whole of this year. Now, of course, some of you might still be dealing with exceptionally difficult circumstances. I'm not saying everything looks rosy for you all, but what I'm saying is that supportive energy from the stars, from the cosmos, is going to help you to feel more empowered, to draw your energy back in and give you a much more grounded, centered place with which to begin this new chapter. So this is a general reading, Sagittarius. If you'd like to join me for the extended, we talk for another 20 minutes or so. Extended readings are $8. They're just a way to support the work that I do, and I appreciate you so much for joining me. So I'm going to invite you to just think about a question that might not have come up in the main general spread, and we'll just pull a couple of cards here just now so that we can cover that off more for you. Okay, so just going to clarify this main reading here, beginning with the energy of the Empress. And we have the Four of Feathers, which is representative of air energy, so like the Four of Swords. Just a very receptive time and some sacred rest coming in. That's what's going to deliver you the success. Six of Wands there is what the Six of Acorns is, and Ten of Cups coming in there with the Ten of Shells and the Knight of Wands. So that feels very optimistic. We also have the Four of Cups showing up again. Soul searching. Yeah, we talked about some of those deeper questions coming through. Five of Crystals is like the Five of Coins or Pentacles. And the Five of Swords. How are you going to work your way around a problem? I feel like that's what's coming. Well, your Empress is going to help you there. Okay, the Seven of the Swords and Tower, but we have to break, we have to shatter that which we do not trust, or that which is not working for us. Our self-sabotage or settled energy. Temperance, beautiful. Ace of Swords coming in, and the Nine of Wands. Okay, so we have Judgment coming through again, so major turning point for some of you, major decisions on the horizon. You might just have been through this, or it's still yet to come. Remembering these readings are not always linear in their timing. The Chariot, beautiful, forward focused energy, and the Fool, look at that. Two of Cups. Four of Wands, lovely. Big decisions coming. King of Cups coming in here. This is the Spirit Song Tarot deck with these beautiful animals represented. So we have the Emperor coming in, and another Six of Cups showing here. Ten of Crystals. So there may be something going on within the family with husbands, fathers, or prominent male figures in your life. Nine of Crystals too. This bodes really well by helping you feel a little bit more secure about certain situations, okay? Seven of Wands. The Sun. And the Eight of Swords. Okay, Sagittarius, going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to wish you beautiful blessings for this month, and look forward to speaking on the extended for those of you that are joining me.